now?
Yeah, things are going well for those guys. When you look at Daniel, his transformation of his body over the summer was big as far as he looks much bigger. He's put on a lot of good muscle. Ethan's really redistributed his weight a little bit. He's about the same weight that he was before, but you can see he's losing a little bit of fat and gaining some muscle in the right areas. So both those guys had a really good summer. You can tell that the weight work has done a lot for those guys. And today being the first day of pads, we haven't had a ton of physicality yet, but you could see that those guys had a little bit more pop and a little bit more drive in their legs, which was good.
Coach Jones mentioned getting a lot more production out of the tight end position this season. I mean, are those two guys where you're looking at right now for that production?
They're part of what we're looking at, absolutely. We're expecting the tight ends to be a big part of the offense. It always has been for us. We've used them as blockers, we've used them as receivers, so we're expecting a lot of those guys, not just Ethan and Daniel, but some of the other guys as well. And there's a lot more competition this year, which is a great thing. Last year, down the stretch, there was very little competition for time on the field at the tight end position. Now, guys are chomping at the bit. They all want to get on the field, and they know that every rep that they take matters. So that's been a great thing for us.
You've been pleased with how AJ's looked coming off the knee?
Yeah, I have, and he's still, we're working through building his reps up. We don't want to throw him in there too quick, but he's doing a good job.
Coach, talk about the physicality that Ethan Wolf looks like he brings to the table. You guys use them in short yardage in the spring, things like that.
Sure.
How big is that for that position too?
Absolutely. For all the tight ends it is. I mean, we don't have tight ends that are simply just big receivers. We're going to ask our guys to do a lot of things. Part of that is going to be flexed out and be a receiver and run darn near every route that all those receivers are running. But we're also going to line them up right next to the tackle, and we're going to expect them to be able to base block a defensive end and win every single time. So we're asking a lot of those guys, but they've really done a good job. Ethan's done a great job as far as his development from spring. He came in and did a pretty solid job, but you can see that physically he's developed in the strength and conditioning area this summer and has a little bit more physicality, a little bit more strength behind him now, and as does Daniel and Downs and Ellis and AJ. All those guys have really developed this summer.
I know it's early in camp, but talk about the group of returners that you guys have to work with and choose from this year.
Sure, it's early in the process at this point in time, but we've got a good group of guys. Obviously, Deverin's back, and he did a lot of those things last year. Carter, Cam Sutton, and then we got some of these freshmen that are going to be, we got to weed it out at this point still. We still got to see who's going to perform under the lights and under a little bit of pressure, which we haven't got to that yet with the returners just being day 3. But as far as that stuff is concerned, we're excited about the group.
Are you guys maybe ahead a little bit in terms of how much kickoff and extra point stuff you're doing, or are you kind of on pace with your install? It seemed like you jumped right into special teams early in the first practice.
We're on pace with what we were expecting, but we certainly are much further ahead than we were at this point last year. With having those 14 guys that were here in the spring, all those guys went through all those special teams reps, so they could step right in. We didn't have to go through day 1, here's what this call means, here's what this call means. We could say, hey, here you go. You know, here's the call, and the guys in the back of the line, pay attention and watch the guy in front of you and pick it up quickly. So we're able to go a little bit faster since there's more guys that took some of those reps in the spring.
What have you seen from Aaron Medley so far?
Aaron's done a good job. I mean, he's got a tremendous pop to his leg. He's got the ability to do it. He's probably going through the first time that he's ever had someone kind of trying to get into his head, because Coach Jones certainly does a great job of trying to put our kickers, our specialists, into situations of stress where he's probably only kicked in front of 2,000 people in his life. Well, there's going to be another 100,000 there in Neyland Stadium that are going to be watching him kick. So it's going to be a little bit more pressure than he's ever experienced. So we try to do a good job of bringing those guys up at the end of the practice in front of the whole group, and they know that everybody's watching and there's a lot of pressure on him. Trying to do some of those things, and he's gone out. He's had a good day, and he's had a day that he wished he had a better day, but we're expecting big things, and he's going to have a great career.
What about Dar? You know, obviously there's a lot of pressure on that.
Sure.
Where would you rate his 3-day consistency at this point?
Dar's doing a better job than he has at all during my time as far as consistency. I can't speak to anything beforehand, but a spring, a fall, a spring, and now being a fall, these couple days, he's done a nice job. He's hitting the ball better than I've ever seen him, and it's been more consistent. So I'm encouraged with the direction that he's going. Now, we're in day 3, but I'm very encouraged with the direction he's going as far as his consistency.